three. 1, 2, 3. B plus. All right, guys, we'll get started here. Thank you for being here, guys. It means a lot. I know there's a lot to football. I know an hour-long meeting here means a lot. I got 5 kids. I've been to a lot of parent meetings and have a lot more in my future. So I think football is worth it. There's a lot of moving parts. So I think it's worth the safety and all those things and schedules. We're all on the same page to start the season. It's worth the effort and time to an hour. I got a couple quick goals, and then Dr. Rick Stowe's going to do a safety concussion part, which is great. But my 2 things I want you to walk away with is being informed and being inspired. If we get a whole bunch of coaches and parents that are informed of what's going on and the safety pieces of how this thing works, and you're inspired by youth football and what it can do for kids, I mean, great things are going to happen in this community. We have a great season, positive season. To me, a big thing, too, is like the safety thing. I mean, did you guys see the news today about LeBron James' son having cardiac arrest? Like that scares me as a youth football coordinator. With Damar Hamlin, like we take that serious. Our coaches are double certified. I know they don't like it, but they're double certified, right, in concussion and cardiac arrest in 2 different organizations. So we don't mess around. You're gonna mess around here, guys. All right, so safety's a big thing. We got Dr. Rick Stowe is going to be here in a minute. I'm sure everybody knows Dr. Rick Stowe. He's like a youth concussion expert. We'll talk about kind of player wellness, hydration, and all that kind of stuff. We also have an emergency action plan that all our coaches have. So they have their certifications, but I know like if something were to happen, you know, you can forget those steps. So we have a binder that every head coach has. The back of the binder has all those emergency action plans. So a coach can grab it, go through my list, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, if it's a heat stroke or a cardiac issue, we have that all kind of planned out. We make it better as a board. We come through it every year. Also, our city's pretty amazing. Clap it up for Independence City, right? We've got a good city, guys. They're offering like free CPR, the fire department is free CPR and AED training for our coaches. All right, so that's pretty awesome. We got AED system at our old middle school field. So all the locations we have an AED present. So you don't just want it to be like the tagline, the safety's a tagline. You want to fall through with that. So then we'll talk about kind of the vision for the program, the model, the expectations for the season, especially with contact at different levels. We'll go through it. We have a calendar. Jackie Rackett, soon to be Jackie Morrison here pretty soon. She's been a godsend. She's our new secretary. But she put together this amazing calendar, color-coded for each thing, so it's easy for you guys to follow. Let's answer a lot of questions for that. We'll talk about a raffle fundraiser, parent and player code of conduct, emergency action plan. We just covered that for the most part. And then Coach Avila will have to say some words. We got Coach Weiss, the middle school coach, coming in. Coach Legando's back from here on. He was amazing last year. I mean, Coach, I was on fire for a long time. I mean, it was like a good week, and it lasted throughout the season. I mean, love those kids. I remember that line, Coach, but like that rang in my head every day. Love those kids. So I mean, we're really fortunate to have Coach Legando back to inspire us. We'll do some Q&A at the end. Dr. So, perfect timing.
Good morning. I take care of a lot of the kids here at Independence. I'm a pediatrician and pediatric sports medicine specialist for Cleveland Clinic Children's right there on Rockside Road. I've been doing this talk for Joel in Independence football for a few years now. We take care of a lot of the sports teams at the high school, all the local high schools actually, for sure. Just want to go over a few things with parents. How many kids have not played football yet here? So just a few. Number 1, the most important thing with youth football right now, and how old are your kids? 5th grade and 6th grade?
Okay.
So this is padded.
We have a first and second grade flag.
Okay.
34 patent flag, and this is accepted.
So this is tackle football? Okay. So the most important thing, remember I'm also the concussion specialist for Cleveland Clinic Children's. Alright, so probably next week when double start the high school, I'll probably see about 5 or 6 a week. Alright? But this is
Ashley wants us to use the mic for the
okay.
That went from Ashley, my son. This is
I didn't know. I didn't know it
But this is
recorded
more
here.
stuff I wanna record for
Check,
guys
check.
to make it.
Okay, so number one, the most important thing for kids' concussions is prevention, and it all comes up to the coach. Proper tackling, head up, all right? Not using your helmet as a weapon, tackling where you can see versus your head down, and that's what Joel and I have talked about with Independence football, youth football, all right? If playing a contact sport, accidents happen. Kids get hit, they bang their head back and forth. But bottom line is what you guys need to know as parents is what to look out for. When it comes to the kids, it's always when in doubt, you sit them out. All right? This is not, coach is worried about his win-loss record. He is, but we're worried about the safety of the children in our program. All right? So if your kid gets headache, dizziness, neck pain, all right, just not acting right, looking fatigued, not acting like himself, call us. We'll get you in right away. All right? Same thing with fingers. It's probably the most common. Is that what you see? Yeah. Fingers, arms, twisted ankles. All right? So that's about it with injuries, but everyone's always worried about concussions in football. But padded flag, yeah. Does tackling happen in flag? Unfortunately, sometimes it does, all right? Because it gets rough, all right? But we're at a safe place. We don't preach that, but it may have your kid against another team against another city, all right? And make sure that our kids are playing by are following the rules as well. Number two, it's hot out now, all right? One thing that we always push to, everyone's always worried about hydration, but when does practice start? All right, yes, August 1st. It starts Independence Youth Football in all the high schools in Northeast Ohio. All fall sports start August 1st. And at the high school level, they do doubles. Practice in the morning, you eat lunch, you practice again. We don't have that. We're practicing after work, correct? But when you're in August, all right, what we want you to do is we want your kid to be well hydrated before they get here. So every kid has a water bottle, but remember the hydration starts the night before the practice. So the dinner before, so Monday night, you're filling up the tank. And then Monday during the day, you're drinking before you get to practice. So breakfast and lunch, they're at least drinking like a bottle of water with whatever juice or milk that they're having in addition to their regular meal. All right? Because if you start, you don't do what we say, and you start with half a tank. As they practice and you get hot heat and humidity, they get dehydrated, they start making mental errors. Coach Joel starts yelling at them, okay? They lose their starting positions, things just happen, all right? But we want our kids to be cognitively, we want them to be well hydrated and safe. Usually if we're practicing in the afternoon, the heat isn't gonna be as much as a problem as it would be like from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. We don't have practice during that time, do we? Good, so we're usually after work, we're not gonna be, it'll be actually like this and we can find some shade. If any kids have any problems with heat, any diabetic kids here, cystic fibrosis, those are some kids who have problems sweating, so those are some other issues. After practice, the best recovery milk to replace your fluids, your sugars, and the protein that you lost, a chocolate milk is the best recovery drink that you can give your kids. I know we got football players, they're so big, doctors say you're not supposed to have chocolate milk, but this is treatment. This is a recovery drink, that's okay. Your kids do not need Gatorade or Prime. They do not need that, okay? They don't. Just tell them Dr. So said water is the best rehydration things, especially if we're just going for a couple hours a day. I'm gonna try and talk to you. I've never seen a Prime commercial, but if you ask your 6-year-olds, they know all the ingredients and every word of every commercial. I don't know how they got indoctrinated on that. It's horrible. So we talked about, don't be afraid to use sunscreen. You know, if you do have a sports one, make sure, sweat. After dinner, I'm okay with bug sprays too, but just wash that stuff off, before they go to bed. I don't know if we got tick problems, there's a lot of deer all over the place, but after dinner in August is when the mosquitoes come out. Last thing you want is a kid who's itching all night. So I'm okay with that. Sunscreen, hydration, food, let them eat. You know, after practice, it's going to be like swimming. They're going to be hungry. All right? All right? That's actually the good thing about football. They're going to be running. They're going to have a lot of fun. All right? And just let the coaches do their job. All right? We don't. How many dads here have played football? Yeah. Let's not have that talk on the ride home. Just say, I loved watching you practice. You should have been proud. I loved watching you play. That's the only thing you need to say to your kids at this age. The whole goal of this sport, believe it or not, is get the kid to love it. Can you get your kid to love football? The winning and the losing is okay. It's the camaraderie of football. I never got to play. My dad didn't let me, but when I was jealous of it. The socialization of them, just even, we all care about winning and losing more than they do. They're never going to remember a loss. They're never going to win their first grade to fifth, sixth grade. All right, but let them have fun. Questions? Making this easy today.
Where's a good place to go to get a concussion?
Just call Coach Joel, or actually a good place to start would be just your regular pediatrician. All right, that's a good place to start. If you need a concussion specialist, I usually squeeze the kids in. I have times carved out here. I don't do this marketing. I'm an independent. I live in Independence, so I just do that for our community. All right. What else? Yes.
They do hit their head. How long after they do when they're not showing symptoms?
The coaches, you'll know right away. Yeah, and all the coaches have to go under proper training to recognize and pull that kid out. You'll either hear a big hit or you'll do it, but sometimes they don't. They'll just say, hey Dad, I got hit in practice, I have a headache. Call your pediatrician. That's gonna be the number one thing to do. Don't put them back out there, all right? They're not Division I prospects at this point. We would all know who he is. This is a small town. All right, but when in doubt, you just sit them out. All right. There's no such thing as a mild or a moderate concussion. It's either yes or it's no. Okay. Oh, he got his bell rung. Oh, he just got dinged. Put it back out there. You got a headache? We're sitting you out. This age, all right, it's not worth it. The difference between their brains and our brains is theirs is still developing. You know, I'm just forgetting things. You know. But that's the difference, and when the developing brain gets hit twice, there's some fatal outcomes. So you get hit once, we're probably going to sit you out, and it takes like 10 days. You might miss a game, you might miss 2, but our goal is just safety. How can we play safe? If we get hurt, how can we return to play safe? All right? What else?
And you have a concussion and return to play. There's procedures clearance before they can play.
Yeah, everyone has to go under medical clearance. And if it's during school, we always say you have to return to school before you return to sport. And we have all those programs all set up. And it's gradual return to play. So first you got to jog on a day, then you got to run, all right? Then you got to sprint, all right? Then you got to do practice without contact, and then a full practice, and then we'll let you play, as long as you don't have resumption of symptoms during that program.
We've had 2 and 3 years having a practice pad flat last year, so I mean, considering how many hours of practice and games we've had, it's
Just that you know that you're in a safe place. All right? All right. I'll be around for a little bit. All right, to answer any questions if you just want to ask them on the side.
Clap it up for Dr. So. Appreciate your time. Don't forget your shirt, brother. Don't forget that shirt. Just got these in. All right, guys, couple things. Football's special. You know, I can't preach enough. Football, there's just something about special about football. Kids need it more than ever. And I was thinking the other day, like, what other sport is there that when a kid's a senior, he has his last game, you see all these 18-year-old boys crying. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, you can win the state championship, or most of the time during the playoffs, you're going to lose your last game, but kids just break down emotionally. The faces of the parents when you see them, they're letting their son is done with their last game. I don't see that in baseball or basketball as much, maybe wrestling, but a team sport, I just don't see that raw emotion. And I can remember a couple years ago, we played Lucas. Tony was there in the regional semifinals. We lost a close game by a touchdown, and I'll never forget. I coached 10 years high school football, so we've seen a lot of last games. But there's something special about that, just the way the kids, that senior class, you could tell had a special bond. That was pretty cool. And they just embraced each other, they're crying. You know, and remember the parents are in the corner, and that group of parents, they were all together and they're hugging each other, and the moms looks on their faces, and I mean, you just don't see that every day, guys. You don't see that emotion, and that's because, I mean, they did something special together. There was something meaningful that happened in those kids' lives, and like why is that? What is it about football, that experience, that creates that emotion? You know, because these kids are going to miss it. Right, this thing that they had, this brotherhood, the hard work, their coaches. You know, I think part of it's playing with kids since recess. You know, through youth football and their coaches and the hard work and the lifting weights and all that comes to an end at some point. And it's hard to lose that because it's such a gift, it's such a good thing, right? And I think that's a responsibility we have to provide that to our young kids here, right, with our youth football program, right? And it's something I want our kids plugged into. I mean, I probably put a lot of work into this thing, and a lot of other people do, and I want my son plugged into that. You know, whether it's first grade or third grade or sixth grade, that whole K-12 system, it's something that's good. It's something kids need. Again, now more than ever. You know, I can't imagine growing up with TikTok and YouTube. I mean, we were lucky. 80s, 90s, we had BMX bikes and sticks, Nintendo, NES. Like, that's what we had. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for it. So, I'm all in. You guys know I'm passionate about it. Let's see what else. A couple things. It is a lot of work to put a youth football program together. It's a lot of work, and there's a lot of people here to make that happen. Tony Avila, our treasurer. Clap it up for Tony. Puts a lot of time into it. And really, like, if you want something great for your kids, you got to make it happen. We didn't have a youth football program here. We had a rec flag football program that was like okay, but I wanted something more for my son and the kids in this community. And this all started at COVID, and me and Tony went on trail runs. And this whole thing happened because a couple dads got together and just, you know, we wanted it. We figured it out. We didn't know what we were doing. We made phone calls, and here we are 4 years later. So we also have Jackie Morrison as our new treasurer. She's coaching volleyball right now. She has been a godsend. You're a lucky man. That's her fiance, Eugene. Man, she is our secretary. Our old secretary wasn't that good, which was me. You got these calendars she put together. I mean, she's organized. This is exactly what the program needed, but, you know, she stepped into it, you know, so she wanted to make it better. We also have Joey Shepard, who's not here, youth coordinator. Keith Mandy's part of our board, so he jumped in. Again, the more hands on deck. I think the Chinese proverb is many hands make light work, so Keith's been a big help. He's our procurement officer. His wife Tabitha is going to be doing social media and Instagram for us, so, I mean, if we want this to be special, we got to get our hands dirty and do the work, so. And with that said, I'll say, like, this is my last year leading this youth football program. Right, we're going to need some of you guys to get in the fight, roll your sleeves up. I mean, my son will be in 7th grade next year, and I got 5 kids. That's a tough sell to Mrs. Woods. Right, I like my wife, I want to stay married to her. If I keep doing what I'm doing, it'll be tough. So I'll be involved for the next 30, 40 years. I'll be involved with a program or a consultant, advisor. I'd love to coach again someday. I would love to just be a coach. But so that's my challenge. We're gonna need some people to step up and carry on the torch. And I think we did a good job in 4 years of building this thing. It's built. It's built. Now we just got to maintain it. So let's see. Sorry, give me an extra copy of that. So real quick, we have our development model, right? So we're plugging USA Football, which is like a best practices. There's a whole bunch of money and experts that created a modern version of youth football, and we started this thing 4 years ago. We jumped right into that. So again, we have, you know, pre-K to rookie flag. We look at this as from 4-year-old to your senior year and beyond, having a whole program. And it's all about being developmental. Most of your kids probably did it. It's one time a week. It's in-house.
Then we got our first and second grade flag program. Right, it's just 2 times a week, 1 practice, 1 game. What we don't want to do is burn kids out and take it too serious. Like Rick he actually stole a lot of my thunder, and he did a great job. Like, just keep playing each year. That's the vision. You have fun with your friends. It's safe. You trust what we're doing. You keep playing. All right, you keep plugged in. Our first and second grade flag coordinators are Tony Clark and Case Allen. So they'll be handling that. Games will be Wednesdays at Zuber Field. So we change that up a little bit for you guys. 6 and 7 o'clock. Nice things, can turn the lights on when we need it. There's bathrooms there versus the old middle school field. So practices will be on Saturday mornings on the turf. Our middle school coaches and players will be around on Saturday mornings to kind of be a support for the program and build that cohesive culture. And then on your calendar, right, your first practice is August 7th. They'll practice Mondays and Wednesdays for their first 2 weeks and a couple Saturdays to build the base. So that's pretty simple, all that straight ahead. We also have nicer jerseys for the kids this year. And with that said, I think there's an expectation of age-appropriate contact. Like Dr. So said, like, flag football is non-contact, right? Kids are going to be kids. They don't have the self-control to not run into each other. I mean, you look at like little kids soccer. I mean, they're kicking each chins for half the game, right? They're learning their game and learning their bodies. Especially at little kids flag, all right, Coach Genso, they're like cut right, they cut left, they go forward, they go back. That doesn't happen with big kid football. All right, so when you got kids moving directions, there's gonna be kids bumping into each other, running into each other. I think we gotta give them some grace. Hey, they're gonna grab a jersey on accident when they're trying to pull a flag. That's just what to expect. They're gonna bump into each other. Like they just are, as long as it's not malicious. If we see a kid grab a jersey and throw it into the ground, that's a whole nother thing. All right, so we got to be careful versus, this is what kids are, their developmental stages, learning their bodies, learning the game, and malicious contact. And then they get older, the padded flag, right? Me and Tony Beal are going to be the padded flag coordinators. And the nice thing was we've got experience. We're going to be helping run that thing. Now they got pads on. Now they got more self-control. Now they understand the game. So to me, it goes from being pretty sloppy to being clean, right? That's kind of a progression. They're in the middle of that in 3rd and 4th grade. Now they know the game. Some of those kids got some confidence, and they're learning the pads. And about halfway through the season, some of those kids will kind of get used to using the pads, right? And 3rd and 4th grade is not called non-contact. It's called limited contact. We're introducing contact in a safe way, all right, before we're tackling. So you're going to hear some shoulder pads hitting, all right? Again, as long as, we're going to have referees there, adults, to make sure everything's good. Referees miss some calls sometimes, right? So if there's something you think is malicious, that the right thing to do is tell your coach and let your coach handle it, all right? I know Jackie had me do that. I had to help coach a padded flag game last year. And again, these are kids, these other communities, there's a spectrum of kids like we have here, right? Some kids are super diligent and on it. Some kids are a little more squirrely and bouncy around and, so I just think that's kind of what to expect. And a kid accidentally hit one of our kids behind the line, or maybe did on purpose, I don't know. But I walked out calmly. I addressed the referee as a gentleman, and so don't just start yelling at referees, yelling at other coaches. Just handle it the right way. We all represent independence, coaches and parents, and to me, I don't take that lightly. All right, so make sure stuff's going to happen. I can tell you, rookie tackle game, and you get older, there's a lot less of that in 5th and 6th grade. Kids can control their bodies a lot better. Mistakes still happen. I remember, Rebecca, your son Nolan ran a sweep play. I love my son Asher. He's out there the lead blocker. He just tackles the kid. We spent a lot of time on blocking and tackling. We spent a lot of time. Do the same drills over and over and over again. He's a competitive kid. He just got caught in the moment. He didn't do it on purpose. We didn't teach him to do that, right? Now just I almost called the flag myself. That's the ref that you can't do. He felt bad for it. It's a learning lesson. You say you're sorry. Again, it's not something we teach. Kids from the other schools do the same thing. Your kid might get tackled. It doesn't mean the coach taught that, right? It was just an accident. We had a kid on one of our games. Kid made an awesome interception. The kid from the other team was behind him and grabbed his helmet, and he just had a bad moment. He was yanking on our kid's head for a couple seconds. And it was like, hey, what are we going to do about this? Like, it wasn't good. Referee didn't see it. I went up to him, explained it. He still didn't call the penalties. It was like a worst-case situation. Right? And our kid was okay. right? And we kind of had a timeout as coaches. We brought all our team together. Hey, this is what happened. We all saw it. How are we going to move on forward? Let's not retaliate. Let's make sure it doesn't happen again. Let's control what we can control as long as everybody's okay. And it worked out. And the coordinator from the other school called me that night, super apologetic. He can't believe that kid. That was a good kid who did it. Like, it wasn't a kid he expected. And you just never know what's going on in someone's home. These are kids. So I think trying to be merciful with that is important. But it'll get cleaner as you go, but they're still kids. I'm trying to think what else. Expectations also for practices. We want to stick to this practice schedule. Less is more. We try to add 1 day of practice per level. So we don't want coaches adding an extra practice. Less is more. Again, at 3rd and 4th grade, you got 3 days. Either 3 practices or 2 practices in a game. And in 5th and 6th grade, we add a 4th 1-hour practice, which we call Technique Tuesday, where we actually practice with our high school team. I'd never seen it before. Coach, I don't know if you've ever seen that. We have our 5th and 6th graders, 7th and 8th of a game, and high school kids, they do tackling circuits together. That's pretty cool. Most of it, we want to see our young guys to see the older guys doing it the right way and learning by example. And it forces our high school kids to be leaders and treat kids with respect, and everybody wins. So that's something that we do. It's kind of a lighter day for us. So there's expectation of adding more time commitment to it as we go. And then, 5th and 6th grade is modified tackle. Like Jeff was talking to you a little bit about, it's modified. It's 7-on-7, smaller field. I think all of us kind of understand that's our vision of modified football. We want to get kids to middle school football safely, but they know what they're doing, right? And with the 7-on-7, there's just a better coach-to-player ratio. There's more participation. If 7 kids versus 11, you got a better chance to be meaningful in the plays. And then we want to get kids ready for middle school football. And then 9th grade and 12th grade, and at the end of it, hopefully this whole K-12 thing, they're prepared to be a leader. As Coach says, they can stand on their 2 feet and to pursue a great life moving forward. So that's the goal. It's not about going to college or playing college football. The goal is to be a great citizen, a great father, a great mother, a great person that makes a difference in your community. A couple things I want to go through here that I think are important. We want it to be fun, safe, and develop skills. All right, at the end of the day, it's got to be fun. I want kids that can't wait to come to practice. All right, that's what you want. All right, everybody has to win. It's got to be positive for the kids, the parents, the coaches, the whole community. I want to be part of a fulfilling childhood, something special to do with their friends. All right, we have a responsibility to provide football for kids that need it. Again, you never know which kids really need football. We want to be committed to implementing the modern USA football guidelines, having certified coaches, double certified in some things. We want to be, blended in with our middle school and high school program. I want kids, when they graduate this thing, I want their first 7th grade practice excited and ready to be a middle school football player. All right, I want our middle school coaches to win by having great kids who know what they're doing and can't wait. All right? And you want them strong in the contact skills so it's safe. 7th grade, you're going to play kids who have mustaches. Right? That's when testosterone kicks. That's when you need technique. So to me, I want to start tackling football in 5th grade, not 7th grade, because now you're learning that skill before kids have testosterone, to be honest. That's what it is. They're going to be bigger, they're going to be stronger, they're faster, and they're meaner. So to me, if you want to be confident, you're going to tackle somebody, you want to be confident. And to me, we do a great job. Coach Becklum, who's not here, we're blessed. Coach Becklum coached high school football Orange for 12 years. All right, and there's this whole thing about the new shoulder tackling system, and he was doing that before it was cool. Now we all teach us shoulder tackling. Right? All our coaches are certified in it, but he's an expert. And he leads our rookie tackle, our coaching drills for tackling, and it's amazing. When we played our team, I think above and beyond our tackling technique. I remember Coach Weiss and Coach Adams were watching some of our games. They could not believe how our kids tackled. Right, so that's something I'm really proud of, and again, it's also for safety. And we want to trickle that down to padded flag this year. We want to have the same types of drills, so when those kids graduate padded flag, their first day of tackling in 5th grade, they're ready. They know what they're doing. They don't have to learn the whole thing. They just got to learn 20% more. All right. Another big thing is a game versus sport. If we make it a sport too soon, we're going to burn kids out. All right, let's not take it too serious. It's not about wins and losses. So I think of it like it's a game or a sport. Ricky Flag is 100% a game. If anybody had kids do Ricky Flag in here, like pre-K kindergarten, right? It is not a sport, right? T-ball is not a sport. It's a game. When you get the flag, you want to move it up a little bit. It's maybe 20% a sport, 80% a game. Now they got nice uniforms. You have referees. It's more of a sport. 3rd and 4th grade, and now you're playing other community. You got pads on. Now you're playing Avon and Amherst and Midview and Buckeye. It's 50% a sport, 50% a game. But if we keep it that way as players and parents and coaches, everything will work out fine. All right? Rookie tackle to me is like, now we're like 70-30. It's getting more serious. Thanks, Dr. So. You get to middle school, high school, it's going to be more, 100% a sport, right? It's more serious, right? Again, we want it to be leadership, character development. The back of the shirts, right? We build leaders. I mean, that to me, it's a target. It can't just be a name on a shirt. That's something like that's what we're all about. We got to build. And Coach said, people can stand on their own 2 feet because of this thing. We want our parents to see it every day, right? Like this is the apex of the program. Is to me leadership and character development. That's what matters at the end of the day. And to me, I want it loud and proud. I think we actually made it bigger on the back of the shirt this year. Because when I'm in a game coaching, I know parents are looking at that thing. And we need it. Because it's really easy to get caught up in. I say this stuff now, but I'm in a game, you know what I mean? I want to win. But I'm also proud of the fact, too, that we don't just say this here. Our rookie tackle championship game, we played a team called Orange. I shouldn't say it, but Orange. They had 20 kids on their team. They had one team. We had 3 teams of 11. Right? One of our teams, they're both undefeated. We are committed to rotating players. Every 2 or 3 plays, we're sitting on the sideline for 5 or 6 plays is fun, yes or no? No, it's not fun. So we want kids in and out of games no matter what. If the game's on the line and the kid's in who's not as good, he's going to stay in. We're not going to pull him out because the championship game's on the line. That's not what we do. And we played this championship game the right way. The other program, they played like 9 kids the whole game. Half the team never saw the field. 1 kid got the ball 80% of the time. They had like 1 or 2 kids rotate. We almost won. We lost by 1. We had a chance to win. We had a chance to win the 20 seconds left. I'm glad. I mean, we played the right. We won in the long run. And to me, that represents us trying to do it the right way. All right, I'm really proud of that. All right. Calendar, you guys all see the calendar there. Pretty straightforward. Anybody's any questions? Everything should be pretty self-explanatory. Padded flag starts in 1 week. Flag starts in August 7th. Rookie tackle, we got like another 3 weeks. August 15th. We have Blue Devil Day, August 14th, stuff like that. Our coordinators send out emails with those logistics as well. I'm trying to think what else. Our raffle fundraiser. So everybody should have gotten the tickets except for 1st and 2nd grade. So we're doing a raffle fundraiser. It's a raffle ticket. Eugene has extra ones. If anybody wants extra ones, but basically they're $20 a piece. There's a grand prize of $1,000, $500 second place. There's $250 third place. All right, pretty easy to sell. If the kid sells a winning ticket, he gets $100. All the kids that sell 5 tickets get their name in a player raffle. Right? We're gonna pull a name. That kid will get 4 tickets to a Browns game November 5th. Custom Browns jersey with their name and number on it, and a Donovan Peoples-Jones signed football that the Browns gave to us. So hopefully that's a character to do that. And really, the money from this year is going to go to you guys, the younger kids. My kid's not going to see the benefit of that, right? So it's really sustaining in the future. Our last fundraiser was amazing. And this is the first year that in registration we could do shoulder pads and helmets and pads and practice jerseys. Our first couple of years we had to have parents pay for that. So that to me was a big hurdle that we could get to that point. So we got free storage from our city. Keith and Tony have been there. It's like the Bat Cave, but it's free, right? So we do want to get a separate storage facility at some point. What's nice, we can go in and get stuff out. So that's kind of one of the next things on our list. But also make sure we got plenty of helmets and shoulder pads for the future, and just really storage kind of stuff. So. Please sell those tickets. It'd be great. You don't have to. You don't get penalized if you don't sell them, but it should be pretty easy to sell. Again, see Eugene if you want more tickets. Every 5 they sell, they get a new raffle ticket for the player raffle. All right. That's pretty much what I got. I'll do a Q&A at the end. I'm going to have Tony Avila talk for a couple minutes. and then Coach Weiss. So Tony, I mean, God bless Tony. I mean, his kid's in 7th grade now. He's sticking around to be our treasurer. I don't know how long he'll do that. But honestly, clap it up for Tony. He does a lot. I don't know how much longer he'll be the treasurer for, but he's just been instrumental. And I think Tony's got a great perspective. He didn't coach till last year. They finally got him to coach, but he has been such a great advisor because I'm in the weeds of this thing, and our coaches are. And he would just give us a perspective from like the 10,000-foot view. And now that his kid's in 7th grade, I think he looks at this thing differently, and I think I have some good words for him.
Thanks for coming out. I can't believe we're in our 4th year of doing this, and Joel is not lying. We were on a trail run, and he proposed this idea, and I will say he does 99% of the work, and I probably do 0.7, and his wife is the other 0.3. So I will say, just one thing to keep in mind, no matter what level you're at, the one thing about football that's I think unique to every other sport is it's played with extreme passion, and don't forget that. So when you see like parents getting riled up, they don't get more riled up at a basketball game than they do at a football game. When you see coaches getting fiery, they get more fired up at a football game than they would at a baseball game. Just keep that in mind. But that's something we want to instill in our kids. But also to play with that controlled passion and be a great teammate and also be a great competitor against the other team. So that's just something to keep in mind. So when you hear the yelling and shouting and, there's a method to the madness a little bit when we're coaching a kid. Sometimes you got to be a little bit loud to just get their attention and kind of hurt the cats a little bit. But just remember that you can't be successful at football unless you play with extreme passion. And that's the one thing, that's the intangible we really want to teach these kids is the hard work, being a great teammate, being accountable, being self-reliant, things of that sort. And also, but you have to play with passion. So the screaming and yelling is going to come with it. The opposing team screaming and yelling is going to come with it. There might be, as Joel had said, there might be an incident or two that might come out during a game. We have wonderful adults as coaches that will be able to temper those things when they do. But they will come up. Just remember, they will come up. These are kids that are growing into their bodies. Some kids are more aggressive than others. So just please keep that in mind. The other thing, too, Dr. So had said, the car ride home, Coach Weiss has referenced this at 7, coaching my son now in 7th grade. Our goal is just to have them excited to come to the next practice, excited to come to the next game, can't wait to play the next fall. We need to keep it fun for them. And as Coach Weiss, he can give you 1,000 testimonials about kids that couldn't tie their shoes, kids that would cry every day in 3rd and 4th grade, and now they're playing Division I college football. So what you see at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is not what you're going to see at the age of 18. Our goal, as he says, is he always says, just get them to me. Just get them to me. Just give them to me. And that always resonated with me in terms of just trying to keep it as fun as possible. So while we do want to instill hard work and we're going to push them a little bit, we do want to have fun too. And that's one of the big things about just keeping our numbers up and keeping them going as they go on through to high school. So that's pretty much it. Do you want me to turn over Coach Weiss?
One thing to say.
One thing? Okay.
Yeah, so there's going to be stuff that happens in conflict, and we have a code of conduct. All the 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th, you guys have already signed and picked up your pads. 1st and 2nd, we'll get it later on. But one thing I suggest is print it off at home, and I'll send it an email. Sit it down at your kitchen table and go over it line by line with your kid. Make sure your kid knows what the code of conduct is, what the consequences are. Read it yourself as a parent. I reread it every year. As a parent, as a player, as a coach, or coaches have code of conducts too. And sometimes they're breached. All right, and I've heard horror stories from other communities that these like Browns have football meetings and just some guys at a table from wherever. And we're lucky. I mean, our leagues are really well run, and that stuff doesn't happen. But we also, my wife is going to be our conflict resolution coordinator, because that's not a hat. I think that's my favorite hat to wear. This is my last year. I want to focus on coaching my son's football team. It's always the last thing on my list is actually coaching my team. So my wife, we worked in HR for 20 years. She's really good at it, a lot better than me. So if there's something that's like a gray area of a code of conduct was breached by somebody, parent, player, coach, kid, my wife will be the one to like vet it. She'll make phone calls, she'll collect the data, bring it to our board, and our board will vote on it. But please, for me, let's keep I just want to enjoy the season. Let's enjoy the season and be let's just be adults. So again, we have a great community. Not worried about it. But, things happen, and I get fired up too sometimes. Like I got to sign these things too. But, Coach Dave Weiss, our middle school coach, second year. This guy is unbelievable. I can't wait for my son to play with him and his coaches. They did a great rookie tackle camp for our kids last week. They're engaged in the K-12 program. They're unbelievable. So I want Coach Weiss to say some words.
So a lot of what I would say to you is very similar to what you just heard. So my hope is that all of you get to know me as the coach at the next level as kids get older and move into the middle school and then hopefully on to high school. So hopefully you will see my faces on Saturdays or Sundays cheering kids on, and you will know me personally, hopefully all of you, before your kids ever come play middle school football, so we have some relationships. I'm really glad this is my second year. So last year when I came, I didn't know any faces. And so now I had the chance to watch 6th grade players. So now all my guys coming in 7th grade, I know most of the parents and the kids, I know at least a little bit, which is great. So to reiterate what they said, really, really important to me. So you watch me walk up with a young fella here, my guy, that's out on the playground right now. When he was 6 years old, not in this community, thankfully, we'd done a lot of stuff with football. He was really excited about football. We went out and played in 2021, the first post-COVID year in that community where we're at. And I was really excited. I'm not a coach. I get to go watch. This is going to be so fun. And his team went undefeated and won the league. And he had a horrible experience. 10 minutes into the first practice, kids are getting punishment runs, 6-year-old kids for not paying attention. Coaches are having kids stand around for 10 minutes and yelling at kids for not paying attention. And it's taken 2 years for him to even consider coming back to play the sport. He had a different sport where he had great coaching and had a very different experience. So I feel great about being in this community because everything that I've seen is these guys do things the right way and make things fun for kids, treat them as they're at their developmental level too, the right amount of seriousness. Coach was talking about becoming a sport as you get older. I say it better damn well be fun. At our level, if we're not having fun, my theory is kids, whether they're playing NFL football or 2nd grade, if they're having fun, they play better. So it also is good for us to make sure that we're enjoying the process. And that we do stuff like have a coach imitation contest. Kids get to imitate us, make fun of all the stuff that we do, so that we make sure that we know we're part of this too. We're in it with you to have fun. These guys do things the right way. I'm very confident about that. And I know that they're not getting that experience that my guy had, and that I'm kind of trying to look to overcome to get back to the sport of football. The second thing I wanted to say is you are all the parents of really young kids, and some of them are going to have very different athletic futures. It's something that we battle here in this community and in every community. Is in this age, youth sports has become quite a business. And I would ask that you challenge any coach that's coaching kids, high school, junior high, that start to tell kids to specialize in one sport and you'll never get a college scholarship if you don't play this sport all year round. I would say that whatever sport it is, have kids play multiple sports and get different experiences, play with their friends in different ways, be around different coaches. All that kind of stuff is really good. And I have worked with a bunch of my players to be able to make sure that we can work around and work together with other activities and sports that they have. So as parents, I hope that you will challenge any coach that tries to say that a young kid should be specializing in something. I'm really excited about being here in Independence. These guys do a great job. I can't wait to see your kids play at the younger levels. As parents, if you ever want to come check us out, we play on Tuesdays and Wednesdays is usually when our games are. Come see what your kids will be doing at the next level. We did it last year, we'll do it again. We invite all the rookie tackles to come to one of our games, do our pregame, be in the locker room with us, be on our sideline before the game, walk out on the field with us. My goal is that at 7th and 8th grade, those kids, we're treating it like it is a high school Friday night playoff atmosphere on Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon. And we want young guys to be excited about doing this. Young guys or girls, I'll coach young ladies. that they're excited about doing this. Lastly, I know their goal and my goal is that we're creating quality human beings. So we are going to strive for things like community service, treating other people with respect, being great in the classroom, all of those kinds of things that these guys focus on, we will focus when they come up to us. So my hope, like Joel was saying, is they have a great experience and have so much fun with their friends that they're going to want to keep doing it here. In a small community, it's a numbers game. If we can keep kids playing the sport, we can have a really, really, really great high school program. I've coached at big schools and small schools. I love coaching this age range and young guys because there's such a chance to make a difference in their future. And I've coached kids that maybe play football for 1 year and never come back to it, and coach kids that have ended up playing NFL football or Division I college football. The goal is hopefully they're going to be family for life once they play for us, once they play for these guys. So please, if you ever need anything from me, don't hesitate to ask. If you see me on the sideline, say hi when I'm cheering on the younger guys, or come check out our games, or the high school games as well. So, and I can tell you we're pretty cohesive from what they're doing to what we're doing up to the high school level. That we got this really nice thing going, and they're doing a great job, so I'm looking forward to continuing to be a part of it. Thanks, Coach.
All right, Coach Logano, I know you don't need this.
What's that?
I know you don't need this. So we got Coach Logano as a head coach at Huron High School for 28 years, I believe. Elementary school teacher for 40. Right now he's retired. Does public speaking as a book. I was going to put that in the side thing. Reading his book right now, very inspiring. And I coached high school football for 10 years, Avon, Vermillion, different places, and always heard about the different people here on football, the tradition they have, and just the kind of kids they produce. So.
First of all, this is pretty impressive. 40 years in education. I taught kids this high. And then I got into varsity football at the other end. Now I'm going to tell you who the most important person, the most important people in a football program, who they are. And every guy in here is going to disagree with me. Come get me. You ladies, you're the most important people in a football program, and I'm going to tell you why. Boys don't like showing weakness to dads. It's not something they want to show to dad. But they will talk to mom about the fears that they have deep down inside. And if you're there to really listen and to understand, they got a better shot of getting where you want them to go. I'll tell you one quick story about moms. I had to interview for a college paper someone in my neighborhood that had a special story for you. He was a World War II vet. I said, what's the toughest thing that you had to go through? He got wounded in the Hürtgen Forest in Germany, took shrapnel in the hip. I said, what's the toughest thing? He said, laying on the field, wounded for 24 hours and listening to all the soldiers around me who were wounded. Now, moms, look at me. You know what they were saying? Every last one of them, the best he could tell, is mommy. Every one of them needed their mom. In this day and age, it's different than when you went to school. It's a lot different than when you went to school. Things come at these kids so fast and furious that if you're not there really tuned in, you're going to lose them. I've had kids this eye that have that sparkle in their eyes, this tall and have a sparkle in their eyes because they want to grow up and they want to be successful people. But they get around the wrong people. They start dabbling in the wrong stuff because it comes at them so quick. What you should want, and I say this to moms all the time when I coach, you worry about concussions. Okay, don't have them play ball. Let them wander the streets, and then you'll wonder why they're looking at you with this dazed look, and deep down inside you know what's going on. They need to be around good people. They need to be fighting, learning how to stand on their own 2 feet. The NFL picked one coach from every state for a football summit that they had in Canton. They picked me. They sent flyers to every coach. Fill out your philosophy of football. During the season, I don't have time to fill that out. So I put one sentence, page after page ahead, you're supposed to put your philosophy. Through the vehicle of football, teach young men how to stand on their own 2 feet. That's what this is all about. You can't fool me. What these kids need is to learn how to stand on their own 2 feet, and football just happens to be a pretty good vehicle. People used to say to me, you act like football's the most important thing in the world. I do not believe that. I think working with kids at any skill, at any walk of life, at this age when they're at a critical time in their life, when the decisions they make can stay with them for a lifetime. To me, that's pretty important. I don't care if it's football, I don't care if it's soccer, I don't care what it is. Give them confidence. Give them confidence. And to the men here, I'm going to tell you this, and the ladies, listen to this. I have coached kids that started at Michigan, West Virginia, Penn, let's see, about 6. I got a kid that plays right now for the Seahawks. All right, I coached a kid who played for New England Patriots. Every one of them was a captain of his team. Any guy that I've had that's played college football was a captain of his team. Every one of them, National Honor Society. Every one of them, good people, good ambassadors for football. I never coached a high school game where the team on the other side had more people than we had. That's what I'm proud of. That's what I'm proud of. Every little kid needs to feel valued. They need to know that mom and dad, listen to me, dads, they might not be as tough as you. They might not be as tough as you. They might be a little bit afraid, but they still need what you need. They needed confidence. They needed someone to believe in them. Guys, listen to me, 40 years in education, I taught a lot of kids who at home, they were used as a punching bag out of a frustrated mom or a frustrated dad. Okay? They need somebody to believe in them. And they all still love their dad. I don't care how many times somebody has been worked over. They want their dad to love them so much. Even after getting whooped on, they want their dad, love the kid. I know I said this last year. Love that son. Right now I have a son. He's 50 years old. He battles depression like nobody's business. You know what I wish I could do? Go back in time and make sure he knows that I love him regardless of how hard he's playing the game of football. That I'll be there whether he's sitting the bench, whether he's out on the field, whatever. If as a dad, you just want to sit in the stands and pump that chest up because my son's crossing the goal line, find something else to do. Find something else to do. Okay, your son needs your support. He needs you to love him and to believe in him. I get all worked up. And by the way, I'm not going to keep talking if I don't get one of those shirts. I love those shirts. Yeah, I get worked up. You would too if you had 40 years in education, working with little guys like this. And you know what? When I first got in, and I said this last year, and I want to say it again. When I first got involved in education, I just wanted to coach. I think I know how to coach kids. Until I realized they really need you. Until I realized that what I have is something special for little people. When the principal called me in and she said, Tony, we got a little guy, he's not in your homeroom, but he said he feels safe when you're around. Wait a minute, some little guy feels safe when I'm around? I was a rough little kid. This guy feels safe when I'm around. All of a sudden, the victories didn't mean as much to me. Can I make a difference in a kid's life? And if he's afraid of contact when he's 10 years old, stay with him. Because he deserves that. Make any sense at all? You guys are sleeping. I better hold you up. Okay. I've won over 200 games. I'm in the Ohio High School Hall of Fame. I've been beaten by the state champs 4 times, twice in overtime to the bench. I don't care about any of that. I care that when I see a ball player who I have coached, I can look in his eye and I can say, I gave you all I had. I gave you all I had for 28 years. Woody Hayes said, toughest job in America is to go home to your hometown and coach football because everybody wants something from you. He's wrong. Toughest job is to be a coach's wife. To sit there in the stands and hear them all chewing away. You know what I mean? So keep in mind, these guys, I'm sure, are giving you what they got. It's hard. But I'm just going to finish by saying this again. Life's different than when you were in school. They can, out there in society, they can grab your kid and you'll wonder where they went. You'll wonder what happened to that little guy that I was so close with, and now somebody got inside your head and started rattling around, and I lost him. Don't let that happen. Support, and moms, trust me, you are the most important people in a football program. I got 40 years experience that tells me I know what I'm talking about. Thank you. Hey, and if I don't get a shirt, forget everything I said.
Coach, what size?
No. Keep those for your coaches.
All right, guys, 6:59. Holy smokes, we're 30 seconds early. My wife, by the way, great coach's wife, for like she's pulling out, dropping stuff off. And, Joel, I love you, but one piece of advice. Okay, what's this gonna be? Should just end on time. So, we did it last year too. That's it. I mean, any questions? Let me or coordinators know. We got always sending emails out with more details, that kind of stuff. This kind of email. This is the stuff that the magic's in person. I mean, it's the safety stuff, the inspirational stuff. I mean, it's just not the same as an email. So, again, our goal is to be excellent. Our kids deserve the best from us. You know, another great coach, Kyle, I remember he talked about, like, your kids deserve for you guys, future coaches, to be on the top of what is going on. Whether it's safety or X's and O's or whatever it is, like, your kids deserve the best from you. So, that's what today was about. If you need more raffle tickets, see this guy? If you need to pick up jerseys for your kids over here, if you come see me for Q&A, coaches, we're going to have Coach Weiss and Coach Agondo just talk to us as coaches. I got a couple things to say. And that's it. Blue Devils on 3.
1, 2, Blue Devils on 3. 1, 2, 3, Blue Devils.
Oh, that was terrible. Blue Devils on 3. Blue Devils on me. 1, 2, 3. Blue Devils. Oh, my gosh. Blue Devils on 3. Blue Devils on me. 1, 2, 3. Blue Devils. Thank you.